some of you are probably thinking, John, yeah, I'm not making 6 figures. I'm not even making 4 figures. And it's all good because this conversation will be relevant, whether you want to make 4, 5, 6, or even 7 figures, because I've got myself and I've got the one, the only, the badass of all badasses, Bryn Lang in the house. Can we get a little whoop whoop on behalf of Bryn Lang? This conversation will be relevant to you no matter where you're at. And we're just going to keep it real. We're going to have a conversation to really help you level up in your business. So I'm excited. I hope you are as well. I would definitely recommend sharing this and taking some notes. In fact, it's really an issue, right? People, they start off strong, ignorance on fire. They build up a little team, they build up a little foundation. Maybe they build up a little customer base and they get stuck. Could be a $500 check. It could be a $5,000 monthly check. Could even be $10,000 a month, but everybody gets stuck somewhere. Guess what? I even got stuck at my highest level of income. At some point, you're like 300, 400. Oh, I got stuck. And then it goes down a little bit, right? So that's just the way it goes. So our goal is to help you. How many of us would love to double, triple, or quadruple your paycheck? How about your bank account? How about your volume? How many of you would love to just rank up? Because it's been a hot minute. So we're going to talk about that today. So why you're not making 6 figures, or for that reason, a full-time income, or for that matter, maybe you're not even making a check with a comma. So we're going to talk about it. And Bryn is one of the best leaders in the entire network marketing space. She's spoken on like every stage you can imagine. You could start off just sharing with everybody a little bit about your background, your network marketing journey, because I think it's so inspiring and people are going to be blown away. And then we'll get into some of the goods.
What's up, guys? I'm so excited to be here with y'all today. Yes, so I have been in the network marketing industry now since 2014, you guys. And it's funny because I actually said I would never, ever, ever, ever own my own business. I never wanted to be an entrepreneur, but the right person on the right day at the right time said exactly the right thing to me. And I had a friend of mine legit come into my gym so excited because he bought socks without checking his bank account, right? And we were broke, man. We were living paycheck to paycheck. And I literally was standing in Target the week before, staring at a pair of shoes for my kid, asking myself if they could stretch another week because I couldn't afford them. And so when my friend's he's like, I just bought socks without checking my bank account. I was like, I need to be able to do anything without checking my bank account. Like that hit me like gut punch. And so I jumped into the world of network marketing. I had to learn how to suck until I suck less. And I'm actually really excited about this conversation today because I bet you there's a bunch of you that suck right now. You feel sucky about sucking, and it's time to embrace the suck because we all start at suck.
Or you feel like your team sucks. Anybody ever feel like that? Like, I don't have good people, right? And you get so frustrated and you get so, really you start to lose the dream and the vision for why you got started in the first place, especially if you've been around a little while, especially if you've done some things like this before. And you're just like, I feel like I'm the only one working. Can anyone else relate to that, right? You're all fired up and excited, but if you're the only one in your team running, if you're the only one working, if you're the only one putting out content, ATMing your face off, getting customers, recruiting, doing all the things, you don't really have a leveraged situation, right? You don't have a check that comes in whether or not you get out of bed in the morning. Like, how many of us want an MBA, a massive bank account? We want to make money in our sleep like Bryn, right? We want to travel the world, have lifestyle, have freedom, which, by the way, a lot of people own a business that owns them. So they don't have the freedom because they're working all the time, trying to keep the lights on and trying to, build a profitable business. And the problem is, I think, number one, is that a lot of you don't have a CEO mentality. You don't treat it like a business. You don't treat it like a business. Like, think about this. If you invested $500,000 or even $50,000 to start your home business, how much more committed would you be? How much more often would you show up? Even if people didn't like your food, or they didn't like your business or your store or the price.
You're gonna freak out because you still had to pay that money back.
Yeah, you owe all this money and you're like, it is what it is, right? I just got to figure it out. And I think that's number one, is just having a higher level of commitment and having that conversation with yourself, like getting real, having that conversation with your spouse, right? Getting real with like, am I really committed to this? Like, maybe I'm stuck in my business because I need to learn something with where I'm at, right? Like, what am I missing? What am I not doing? And, sometimes it's tough because I know as mentors, right, myself and Bryn, we both deal with this where people are like, can you tell me what I'm doing wrong? Or can you look at my social media? Or can you look at this, look at that? And listen, you can get advice from a mentor for sure. But at the end of the day, you also have to just figure it out through your own process, through your own activity. Like, I figured out what worked for me, and that didn't necessarily work for my upline, my sideline, my downline. It was how I wanted to show up, how I wanted to run my business. But again, having that CEO mentality will change everything. And by the way, what do you think for somebody that doesn't want a budget? They don't want to have to check their bank account to buy socks, right? They are ready. They're frustrated. They're sick and tired of being sick and tired, and they don't want to suck, right? They're okay with sucking a little bit, but they want to suck less, like you said. So can you talk about what was it for you that created the breakthrough to go from part-time money to full-time money? What were some of those things for you?
We are literally taught from the time we're like yay high to have an employee mindset, right? You go to school, you get a job, or you go to the military, but you go to work to get paid, and you are getting paid for those hours that you put in. And the hardest part about becoming an entrepreneur is understanding that you have to have an entrepreneurial mindset, right? When you first start in network marketing, or as any entrepreneur, you're going to have to work a whole lot up front without getting paid. And a lot of people don't understand that, or they're not okay with it. Because when you go to work and you go to a job, 2 weeks later, you're getting a paycheck for being there. But it doesn't work like that. But if you can understand that at first you're going to have to work before you ever get paid. And then it gets to be more like work, get paid. And then it's more like work, get paid, right? At the end of the day, you're going to get paid a hell of a lot more if you can commit upfront to having an entrepreneurial mindset. So I love that you talked about commitment. I want you guys to write this down. Commitment is magnetic. The people watching you, your friends, your family, your acquaintances, the people on social media, they're watching you to see how committed you are to working through that entrepreneurial mindset, to going from suck, right, to average, to good, to great, to exceptional, because nobody starts at exceptional. You've got to start at suck, right?
Yep.
You're watching your commitment. And here's the thing. It's really easy in a moment of emotion or a moment of inspiration or desperation to click the button to become an entrepreneur, to join the network marketing industry. A lot of people, they click that button and they're so excited. I got this. I'm going to do this. Everybody's going to want it. Like, I get it. Like, I could see the vision.
It's a no-brainer.
It's very easy to make the decision to do it. What is not easy is being committed to digging in when it gets hard, because it will always get hard. It's hard to be committed because commitment is hard. It's easy to make a decision to get married. Right? You love it. You this person's amazing. They look good rolling out of bed in the morning, right? Like, you think, oh, I'm going to make this person happy for the rest of my life. But then shit gets real when you get married, right? And what happens is people go into marriage with a back door. If you go into your business or into your marriage with even the idea that if it doesn't work out, even if it's subconscious, then you will quit your business.
Yep.
Or you will get divorced. It's why over 50% of marriages end in divorce, right? So today, here's what I want you to do. You want to earn 6 figures, 7 figures in network marketing? You've got to take that little door that you've got back there, you've got to slam it shut, and you've got to seal it, concrete it, brick it up, where there's no way that you can open it. Because then and only then will you make the kind of money that you really want to make in the network marketing industry. Because if there's any quit in you, you will not make it. You're going to get different strategies from John. You're going to get different strategies from me. You're going to get different strategies from your leaders in your company. None of them are wrong, and none of them are completely right for you.
Yep.
The best things that I've learned is to take little pieces of the things that you learn from the different people and start applying them. Your ass should be applying at least one thing that you learned from this training immediately before your butt even leaves your seat. in order to start getting a result. And here's what you do. Here's how you figure out what works for you. I have people ask me all the time, how in the God's green earth did you become a 7-figure a year earner in only 6 years in network marketing? Because I was very, very good at taking what I learned, applying it, and then analyzing backwards every single day. What worked today? What didn't? How can I improve it? Tweak the next day. What worked today? What didn't? How can I improve it? Tweak the next day. Once I started learning to be committed and then to analyze backwards every single day, I started growing faster than anybody else around me. So those were the two things that really started to separate me from the pack when I went from just making a little bit of money in network marketing to making a lot of money in network marketing.
If you're trying to build an empire, right? Like that is how you should show up every day, right? You should have a schedule, an agenda. You should be intentional and have a plan in place and be disciplined. And I know some of you are going to say, well, it's hard to be disciplined because it's summertime, kids are out of school and I got a job and I got this and I got that. Welcome to the club. Like we all have those things. We all have distractions. We all have kids or other obligations or, another income, another business, another job, but like everything's figure outable. Like you have to stop making excuses because you can't make money and make excuses. You got to choose wisely, choose one or the other, right? So you have to be intentional and say, you know what? I'm going to commit to this. I'm going to get really good at this thing over the next 30 days. Maybe it's TikTok. Maybe it's in your leadership. Maybe it's in your onboarding. Maybe it's recruiting. Maybe you're going to focus on recruiting this month. But like you need to have a focal point to get a little bit better every single day, every single week, every single month. You plan, do, review, as Eric Worre says, right? Plan, do, review. And there's a quote that I heard probably in my second network marketing company. And it was by George Zalicki. I don't know how many of you have ever heard of George Zalicki, but it was like an MLM like God. I mean, it was just like he came out on stage, this white suit, the first time I ever saw him speak, big gray beard. It was like, oh my gosh, this is the God of like MLM. Anyway, so he said, commitment is doing the thing you said you were going to do long after the mood you set it in has left you. Amen. Again, commitment is the thing you said you were going to do long after the mood you set it in has left you. And that really is commitment, right? It's like, it's easy to get excited. It's easy to get fired up and join and launch and maybe even run hard for 30, 60, 90 days. But when things get tough and when you have a couple people quit or when your check stalls out a little bit or even declines, like, are you going to be able to persevere through all of that? And that's based on that commitment. That's based on that work ethic. And, there was a lot of people back in my early days in network marketing that I looked up to that were very, very successful. And many of them, unfortunately, are no longer in network marketing. Super talented, super skilled, super successful for a period of time, but they just didn't have the tenacity to stick with it. And unfortunately, a lot of those people that I still stay in touch with, they're not, it's not like they figured out another way to like become financially free. It's not like they found another way to create the freedom and the lifestyle and all the things that they wanted at that time. It's just that they gave up on their dream and their goal and they weren't disciplined. They weren't committed. They gave up, they quit. I mean, think about how many people have got involved in the profession in the last 9 years that have not made 7 figures a year like Bryn. Right? What's the difference? What's the X factor? And I'm going to tell you another X factor is that people like Bryn got really good at showing up on social media, building the relationships, connecting with high caliber people. Like, listen, if you forget everything we talk about, today, the number one thing I can tell you to keep in mind and remember this is you have to recruit better people. If you're in a hurry, how many of us are super impatient like me and Bryn, right? Like we're super impatient. Now this is a tough business because you got to be patient. But at the same time, it's like, you also don't want to sit back twiddling your thumbs, just hoping that one day I recruit a hitter. Like you become the person you want to enroll, become the person that attracts high caliber people. How do I recruit A players? You become a freaking A player. Now, I'm going to have Bryn talk a little bit about how she built up that confidence, how she developed that skill. Can you talk about this? Because how did you, right? You went from not knowing what network marketing is, and within 6 years, not 6 figures a year, but 6 figures a month. How the heck did you recruit these high caliber people? And how did you not just recruit them, but lead them? How did you develop that much confidence so quickly?
Well, it's funny because in the first 6 months that I was in network marketing, I didn't recruit anybody. Like I legit didn't recruit anybody. But here's what I like what you're talking about. So the person who recruited me, they saw me as an A player. Okay, let me just break this down for you. Division I athlete. Played Division I volleyball, full ride scholarship. What are some of the qualities that a Division I athlete would have? Determined, hardworking, consistent, right? Teamwork. Like you could go all dang day, disciplined, right? On the type of people or the type of qualities that a Division I athlete would have. What did I do when I first got out of college? Well, I was a salesperson. I sold food to restaurants. That's how I met my husband. What are the qualities of a good salesperson? I want you to start looking around at the people around you and asking yourself who these A players are. So I didn't recruit anybody in my first 6 months. Then I decided, okay, well, I just need to develop some simple habits. And these habits are what took me to a 6-figure income. I started to learn how to ask every person I was already talking to about the products if they'd also be open to an additional income stream. Because hello, how many people out there need extra income? Look, I still got a lot of no's, but a lot of people who had never even thought about it, who were already interested in the products that I had to offer, were like, yeah, I could also make some extra money, right? Then I learned how to flip my customers, the people who were already getting results. I started asking them, hey, you want to share these results? Make some extra income? Those 2 things took me to a 6-figure income. But what took me to the 7-figure income was deciding that I was going to start recruiting up. I was going to start looking for people like me, people who had the qualities and the skills and the habits and the belief of successful people. And you should definitely write that down because that's the key right there to 7 figures. Habits, skills, belief. You need to develop these things in yourself and you need to find people to develop these things with. Those were the things that separated me and brought me from 6 figures to 7 figures.
And it really is as simple as like, if you can get to 6 figures, teach 10 people how you did what you did, you teach them how to do it. And that's how you get to 7. I mean, it really is that crazy. It really is that simple because if you have, I mean, imagine how many of us would be excited if you had like 10 Bryn Langs, like, worky, like you don't have to worry about money anymore. Like we have people in our upline, they know worky anymore. Like it's a beautiful thing, right? Like they're still there if we need them. They'll invest some money into our businesses. They'll do different things, amazing things. But at the end of the day, they don't have to worry about money anymore. And how many of us want to be in that situation? You want to be in a situation where you have real duplication. You have people that are independent of you. So learning to recruit up and being confident enough, that's the hard part for a lot of you. You're not confident enough to talk to these A players, or, once you do talk to them, you get super intimidated because for some reason you're like super nervous that they might reject you or make fun of you or think less of you. When the reality is a lot of those people are actually the most open-minded.
Yeah.
Right?
And think about it this way too, you guys, like who cares if you're nervous when you ask?
Right.
Like at the end of the day, you just separated yourself from the pack. Because you know how many other people out there are also questioning themselves, going, I don't think I could talk to that person. Well, you just separated yourself from 95% of the population by just asking. That's a big deal, right? Like you're going to get no's. People are going to tell you no. That's okay. But 95% of the people are not even asking in the first place because they're so scared of getting a no. Really know what it is that you want in the long run. Right? Like it's one thing to say, I want to make 6 figures. I want to make 7 figures, right? Like it's a whole different story when you can really get clarity on exactly what's your life going to be like if you make 7 figures. Like, why do you want to make 7 figures? Like, what are you going to do with that money? Are you going to invest? Are you going to travel the world? Are you going to have your dream car or your dream house? Do you know what they look like? Like
a beach house in Destin.
Yeah, I mean, hello, right? I know a lot of people think that stuff's corny, but it's not, because here's the deal. If you know exactly what it is that you want, then you can ask yourself, who is the person that I need to become in order to have that? Because this is the biggest thing that most people miss out on. They may say that they know what they want, or I want to make 7 figures, but you have to understand who that person is that has that. The person I am making 7 figures a year is a completely different person than I was when I was making 6 figures a year, and a completely different person than I was when I was making 30 grand a year, right? Like it's a completely different situation. So if you can ask yourself, if you know exactly what it is you want and you know who that person is, it goes right back to what I just told you guys before. What are the habits? What are the skills? What are the beliefs of that person? What does their day look like? Who do they surround themselves? What kind of events are they going to? What kind of books are they reading? It makes it really easy for all of you who are going, well, I don't know how to get there. How do I get to 7 figures? Well, ask yourself who you need to be in order to have that, and then start identifying what habits you don't have yet, what skills you don't have yet, what beliefs you don't have yet, and start taking one step every day to become more of that person.